Okay, start.
For the Love of Money, The Night Watchman by Lovey Smitham. Little Adelaide Morrison was and still is called Lady. It was a gift of a name from her parents, never intending to grow her up quickly, but more like a pet name, like Little Lady or Ladybug, and that was sweet back then. But as she grew older, the superiority to others, less beautiful, less talented, even less loved, was permanently planted in her self-image, her actions, and her ways. It was not attractive. That attitude did not win her playmates through grammar school, nor best friends in high school. Her beauty drew the interest of many boyfriends, but each relationship was short-lived. She continued to act like a royal princess. High school boys don't want to work too hard to win the hearts of a girl. They don't have to, heroes all. To most of them, sports is more important. Lady did not like sports, nor did she participate. Sweating, bruising, rolling around in the ground to claim a football for the team was not her cup of tea. Besides, she would be dependent and be judged according to their abilities. Them far below her own, she assumed. That is, if she played sports, which she did not. But she would have been a winner, but was not. She passed up sports, or they passed her up in front of her, and she chose not to get in line. Lady, or Adelaide Morrison, was intelligent and graduated at the top of her class. Her forte was music, performing arts. One would quickly agree she was a good actress. Plus, she could tickle the ivories on a piano. She chose to attend a college of music. Too soon, she lost interest and phoned Mommy and Daddy to come and get her, because every one of the students were better than she, who offered up only mediocre melodies. Perhaps. Her parents brought her home from college. It was what she wanted to do. Of course, Lady explained her thwarted success. They're older than I am. Such a boring lot. Professional students. They will still be playing scales on an upright when I perform on a grand piano at Carnegie Hall. She announced, I prefer to take a time-off period before settling down to college. All the kids are doing that, traveling around together as a team. Mrs. Morrison never knew her daughter to be a team player of any kind. She absolutely refused to let her go. We can send you to visit your Aunt Lucille, she suggested. Are you kidding? You've got to be kidding. A year later, Mrs. Morrison sold, or rather traded, her baby grand piano that was gathering dust for a ticket for Lady to travel to Washington, D.C. to attend a political ball. She would be staying with Mrs. Morrison's sister, Lucille. While there, she met a suitor, and after that, several others, who tired of her superiority attitude quickly and recognized she was just another social climber. Lady called her parents to send her a ticket to come home. But Lady, your ticket was for both ways. I had to turn it in, Mommy, for a one-way at the airport. I needed to buy suitable luggage. That cardboard thing you sent me off with was falling apart. It even rained on it. I was ashamed to claim it at the baggage area. You ought to understand, Mommy. Aunt Lucille would have been appalled had she seen me wagging that thing to her waiting Mercedes. Tell my daddy he'll willingly insist upon sending me a first-class ticket home. He never liked Aunt Lucille, and now I can understand why. Lady, did my sister not treat you well? Your daddy won't like that. I hate to tell him. Can't you work it out between you and her? I guess not, or you wouldn't be calling me to disturb him at the bank. He's so busy. Miss Chase will have to let me through to him. She's so protective. She'll want to know why, and I'll have to tell her why. Just because she's his private secretary should not mean she has to know all of our business. I think I'll just drive down there and tell him face to face, wife to husband. Well, darling, stay close to the phone and wait until you hear from me. Your daddy will make arrangements. He knows how, and I don't. We'll get you home as soon as possible. Lady was through hearing her mother's prattle. Who cared, not she, that her mother resented her daddy's secretary? Old news. Without pursuing the goodness from Mommy or the badness from Daddy. Just the mention of Aunt Lucille's name dropped, suggested her shortened visit rested on her shoulders rather than Lady's. She said a quick goodbye. Daddy had the ticket confirmed and had Miss Chase to send Marlene to phone his daughter. No message came with it, just travel information. He would send a car for her at Lovefield in Dallas, pick her up. He was used to bailing Lady out of situations. This was not the first time, nor would it be the last time. She was worth it. He would be glad to have her home where she belonged. He damned his wife's sister, Lucille, for making her miserable on such an expensive trip that this turned out to be. She shamed the girl's luggage that was not good enough to ride in her Mercedes. Humbug. It has to be her fault. He based his opinion upon how it was related from Mrs. Morrison when she arrived at the bank and insisted to his secretary that this was a matter of life and death. The daughter had to be rescued. Lucille has made her life miserable for our little girl. I'm sorry, mouthed Marlene Chase to her boss. She had allowed his wife to burst through the door. Nevertheless, never completely satisfied, Lady Steele was looking and waiting for her own throne inside her own palace. A king would be nice to have. A king would be nice to have, but she have to be satisfied for a prince of a fellow. I lost my place.
Hello.
I can't see my place. Oh, that's that.